All right. I think we are good to go. Hello, everyone. Oh, we've got a good number starting out. Hello. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Today, who do I see in here, actually? Let's do that first. Who do I see in here? I see Zimena, welcome in. Drew, welcome in. Red Beast and Witchy, welcome in to the stream. Glad to have you all here. Today we are going to be talking, also, still in Photoshop, Medibang has not improved. So we will be continuing to stick with Photoshop for this stream. But I guess then that means I can show you some cool lighting stuff that I can do in Photoshop and not in Medibang. Or not as well in Medibang, I guess. But today, like you can see in front of you, we're going to be talking about character design. But the physical portion, because there are two kind of halves to character design. There's the physical portion of character design and the written portion of character design. We're not going to be talking about writing today. We are just going to be talking about how to design somebody right in front of you, right? So we're going to be talking about their physical design properties, how to make a good character, how to make an interesting character, and then we'll be designing one together on stream. I believe what won the poll was Cyberpunk, so I believe we'll be doing a Cyberpunk character. Let me double check that before we do anything else, because I don't want to accidentally do that. And that was not the one that won. Okay, yeah, so Cyberpunk won by 41%, so we'll be doing a Cyberpunk character together. Hello, welcome in, Lewis. Glad to have you here. But, yeah, all right. But before we get going, you know what time it is. It's time to talk about the studio. So if you did not know, our growing community is filled with tons of art nerds, and we art nerds have to stick together. So if you would, we art nerds have to stick together, so if you're an art nerd too, be sure to check out the links to our social media in the description below. And check out our website for our class offerings, where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we're an art school too. So if you'd like to support us so we can keep on making free content, consider supporting us on Patreon for as little as $2 a month, where you can get access to tons of perks like my working files, critique sessions, and a huge discount on our classes that have a limited amount of spots. So be sure to check those out before they are gone. Okie dokie. Oh, hello, Art Cat Draws. Welcome back in, and thank you, Daria, for all the little pings. All right, let's talk a bit about character design. Character design, right? There's a few things that you always want to. Oh, wait, these are the wrong notes. I always have notes off to the side. But character design, there is always going to be a few things that you want to keep in mind when you are designing, a character. Right? There's always going to be a few things that you want to check off in your brain. Right? It's a few good things you kind of want to keep in there. This should be the right one. Yeah, there it is. Okay. But there are always a good few things to keep in mind when you're illustrating a character, right? So number one, right, is how do I make them interesting? And how do I make them feel like they belong? Right? Especially if you're writing for a story, you're writing for a game, something like that, you want to make sure that they feel as though they fit within whatever setting you're designing, and you want to make sure that they're interesting as well, right? You don't want to kind of sit and look at a main character that kind of looks like your average everything else, right? Well, that kind of depends, but regardless. Hello, gift please, and silent YouTube. That's okay if you're going to sleep soon. It is different time zones for everybody. So here's the checklist that you can kind of give yourself, right, when you're designing a kind of character. So things to think about. Hello, Flexology. Welcome in. Things to think about. Number one is the setting. Right? So what's the time period? Which is the when. Right? How advanced are they? Advanced or rudimentary. within reality. Or an alternate universe. Right, so when is this in time? Your character, where are they going to be placed? You're going to be designing somebody that is at a period of time, whether that is the current time or if that's in like the past or the future or a different reality altogether, right? Kind of like, I guess an example I could give for something that is like in the past but not in our timeline would be like steampunk, I suppose, right? Where it takes the old Victorian time but gives it as if we kind of continued with that steam powered Iron Age sort of era, right? Which we didn't actually have in reality, but that is still another time period that you have to think about, right? A steampunk character would be differently designed than a cyberpunk character, which would be differently designed than a modern character, which would be differently designed than so on and so forth, right? So we want to make sure that we are designing for the time period. Yeah, okay. So we want to make sure that we're designing for this time period. Number 2 is their role. Right? What is this character's role? What kind? I want to kind of try to zoom through this because I know that the the illustration portion might take a bit longer. What kind of character are they? Character. What kind of character are they? All right, are they a main character? A secondary, which I know has a proper name, but I keep forgetting it, so I will just continue to call them a secondary character. A tertiary character. Or a background character. So the main character, right, you want to spend the most attention on. The background character will have the least. Right, there's a hierarchy. Least attention. Right, so depending on the type of character that they are, right, whether they're a main character, secondary character, tertiary character, or background character, right, this is your kind of hierarchy that you want to not only like have for that character, but to have for yourself and how much time you should spend on them. Right, you're obviously going to spend a lot of time on designing the main character versus designing a background character. Right, your main character is what people are going to be seeing 99% of the time. That's the character that they're going to be focusing on. That's the one that they'll see the majority of the time. You want them to focus on that, right? So you should probably spend the most time focusing on that character. However, if you kind of spend forever designing a background character that you'll never know the name of, you'll never see more than once, that doesn't make any sense, right? You'll still want to spend some time on them to make sure that they feel like background characters, right? You're not going to have somebody in like modern clothes and a medieval setting, right? You're going to want to make sure that you study that kind of outfit design. You want to make sure that you study that kind of what they'd look like for that time period, right? But the majority of the time, you want to make sure that your main characters look the most interesting and are the most interesting. And what do they do? Your role is going to be kind of the what. Right, setting is kind of the when, which I've kind of highlighted already. Or a rival character. Yeah, rival character could either be a secondary or tertiary. Depends on how much attention is placed on them. Though I would recommend making rivals secondary characters, which I know have a name and I always forget it. But it is, I know that there's a name for those. It's the characters that aren't quite the main characters, but are kind of like the best friends, or you still want to focus more on. You still want focus to be on them, but like not as much as the main character. You can always have more than one main character. You will have more than one secondary. So what? Or you should have more than one secondary. So what do they do, right? That's mostly occupation. Or how they fit in the story. Story of the universe. So that could be, are they the hero? Or the villain? merchant, friend, rival, so on and so forth. Deuteragonist. I think that's the one. That's the one. However you pronounce that. Yeah, that's it. That's it, I believe. Thank you, Sophia. Yeah, I always forget what that word is. So I just continue to call them the secondary main character, which kind of it means the same thing. It's just a less cool word for it. Right, so what do they do? Right, and that includes mostly their occupation. What do they work as? Right, what do they work as? What do they do most of the time? Right, are they like I keep on going back to medieval stuff. I don't know why. So I'm like, are they like a swordsman? Are they the It's like, are they a chef? Are they an artist? Are they whatever they do? Right, that will also kind of attribute and add on to their character, right? And how do they fit within the story of the universe, right? Are they the hero? Are they the villain? Are they the merchant, friend, rival, whatever other kind of role is available, right? Based on that role, that will also affect the way that you design them. That'll also affect the way that they should look. Number three, third thing you want to think about, again, I'm trying to zoom through this. I don't want to spend too long on this, even though this list is kind of long, is are they literal? This is a weird one. This is a weird one to kind of keep in your brain. Because this has to deal with ironic versus literal design. Ironic versus literal design, right? So literal design is that they look like what they are. Right? Very literal. You see an artist, they look like an artist, right? Whether that's like paint splatters everywhere. Maybe they have a sketchbook. Maybe they dress a little bit funkier, right? I'm gonna talk a bit about that though. Whether or maybe if they're like a business person, they'll probably dress a little bit more formally, right? If they're royalty, they'll probably have bigger, more flowing attire, something a little bit more regal looking, right? You wouldn't dress up a royal person as a peasant. Similar kind of idea to that. Or if they're ironic, design is appearance doesn't match the character. Right, you'll see this sometimes in media. Oops, you'll see this sometimes in media when you have like a maybe a bigger character, like a bigger intimidating character, but they end up being like really shy or really soft. Or you have like maybe a punk looking character who's somebody's like a little more goth or somebody's a little more edgy, right? And then they turn out to be really really soft or really really kind, or somebody's really really kind but they end up being like really violent or angry. You know, somebody looks very soft but they end up being like the angriest one of them all, right? That's ironic design, right? Let's say if you had like a mouse character, but they end up being very aggressive, right? It's that all that anger compressed into that tiny body. That's kind of ironic, right? However, it's focusing on the canvas, not the chat. Sorry, late response. It's okay. Hello, friends. I have some character design with Jessie Chang. Yes, that's me. You are having character design with me, right? With ironic design, you need to be careful. Example, Kronk. Yes, that's a good one. Big, burly kind of character who's kind of goofy and a little bit more silly, a kind of character. Or maybe the mafia boss from Zootopia. That's another one that always pops into my brain, is the tiny little mouse or hamster character who's like a big mafia boss. He has like polar bears as his guards. That's always the first thing that kind of pops into my brain. But you need to be careful. I'm gonna write this in red actually. Be careful. Literal and ironic character designs tend to be rooted in stereotypes. So be mindful of what you're illustrating. Right? So please be careful. If you are working with ironic or literal design, right, they tend to be rooted in stereotypes, right? Especially, it's like, that's what I was kind of like saying before, right? What does an artist look like? All artists kind of look different, but you have like the very stereotypical, kind of dresses up really weird and always has plain splatters and always has, something like that, right? Whatever, right? Artists might, like, their quote unquote personalities might be a little more exaggerated, stuff like that, right? That's a little bit more of a lighthearted example, right? But at the same time, you want to make sure that your literal designs and ironic designs are not offensive in any way, right? So you got to be mindful. Make sure that if you're doing it sensitively. Yes, yes, yes. All right, now number 4. Oh, I'm gonna write number 4. The one that I have in my notes is number 4 last. So let's do number 4 this way. And just mind your colors. This is more on the technical side. Mind your colors. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna merge this one with the last point. I don't think we need that one with something else. I'm gonna put this one as number 4, which is variety is key. This is a really big one. Variety is key. No two people are exactly alike. So, your characters shouldn't be either. Right? No two people are exactly alike. No two people that you see on the streets will be exactly alike. Even twins. Even twins aren't perfectly exactly alike. They're like very like identical twins even have like very minuscule things about them that are different. And even if their visual like aspects are not very very similar, their personalities will probably be very different, right? So no two people are exactly alike, so your character shouldn't be either, right? When we say that, I'm not going to write this down, but when you have like a lot of people that look the same in terms of like their facial features, you call that same face syndrome, right? A lot of the times artists want to avoid that a lot, right? Same face syndrome makes your characters look really boring. I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well, but you want to make sure that you're avoiding that 99% of the time. I'm thinking since you've typed out Kronk and I still can't think of a decent example that compares. Fair enough. Right? So no two people are exactly alike, so your characters shouldn't be either. Shrek is ironic, perhaps, yeah. You know what? I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, you know what? I kind of half agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Same breed. Same breed. All right. So then that could be the age. That's body type. Socio-economic class. Economic. Age, body type, socio-economic class. Height. Etc. Actually, let me just do the fun little etc like that, right? So no two people are exactly alike, so your character should be either, right? Your age, your body type, socioeconomic class, height. Socioeconomic is like their jobs. Are they like what kind of class are they, right? Are they like middle class, high class, low class, stuff like that, right? You want different kinds of people in there, right? You want to make sure that your characters look different. Though they look different, they should have unity. Too much unity equals static. Two similar designs. Too much variety creates inconsistency. Right, so unity and variety are both, I mentioned them a lot as of late. Both of those are your are two principles of design, right? Your unity and your variety, right? Unity and variety need to work together in order to make interest, right? The same, that's what they usually say that for like an entire art piece, but the exact same thing goes for character design, right? If you have too much unity, then everything becomes static or too similar, right? If you have too much unity, then it becomes too static, right? If you have too much unity, then every character is going to look the same, everybody's going to feel really boring, everything's so on and so forth, unless that's intentional, right? But if you have everything that it looks too similar, then it's going to feel really, really static. If you have too much variety, on the other hand, then it can feel inconsistent. It can feel kind of chaotic. It can feel all over the place, right? That's why you need the mix of the two. Your unity should be done with the roles and the setting, right? Your characters should all appear within the same setting if they're, within a single area, right? If you're writing about fantasy, then you're going to want to make sure that every character looks like they're in that fantasy universe. You don't want to have like a random cyberpunk character in the middle of your medieval fantasy. And if they're friends, they're most likely all going to be the same kind of socioeconomic class, or maybe they all have the same job, maybe they all go to the same school, so on and so forth. Right, so your role and your setting tend to be what cause your unity. And if you give them too much variety, that it can look a little bit strange, right? Maybe if they're all from different areas, right? Your variety or your unity could also just be the art style, right? If you're all working in one art style, it can look the same. But if they all kind of come from the same place, they should look like they come from the same place. You don't want to have every single character, unless if they all come from different areas, you don't want to have every single character looking like they don't belong, you know? So though they look different, they should still have unity. They should kind of feel like they complement one another. So this last one seems to contradict this one, but that's why it's hard, right? It's less is more. Less is more. I'm writing this really, really big because not everybody knows this one, right? Less is more. I've said this in like a bunch of different streams before if you've been to any of the past ones, but I'm going to say it again, right? Less is more, right? That has to do with your palette. Actually, let me write down this first one first. It's that an interesting character does not have to be super detailed. Use less colors. Use simpler palettes. Single motif. Simpler forms, right? An interesting character. Yes, finally I can join another stream. Hello, Karina. Welcome in. Oh, this time I was thinking more is more. No, definitely not. Right? Less is more. Less is more. I have a Kirby plush on my lap right now and I'm smacking him. Yes, it's more. Right? An interesting character does not need to be super detailed. Absolutely not. Right? Never in my life. Because especially if you're working with like me, right, who works on comics, right, an interesting comic characters, right, you need to make them simpler, right? 99% of the time you want your comic characters to be fairly simple because that's who you're going to be drawing a bajillion times, right? If you're going to draw this character in this beautiful giant intricate outfit or these like crazy robotic like parts, keep in mind you're gonna have to do that for hundreds of pages. Do you really want to subject yourself to that? that's the number one thing that you're thinking of, right? That's when the less is more plays in, right? And even still, an interesting character does not need to be super detailed, right? Think of some of the most popular characters that you can think of right now, the most popular icons. Right? Like I mentioned, Kirby. He's 2 colors, like 2 to 3 colors at the max. If we don't count that black and white, right? Overall he's 1 color, pink, just different shades of pink, right? Super, super simple, super easy to recognize. Like most people know Kirby, even more people know Mario, right? How many colors is that? That's like, again, if we don't count the black and white, it's like 4 or 5 colors, something like that. And those colors in there, right? Most of them are just primary colors. There's blue, yellow, red, the skin tone, and like the brown of his hair and shoes. That's it. Right? Nice and simple. Mickey Mouse, even less, right? If we don't count the black and the white, that's like 2 colors. It's yellow and red, right? Even still, right? Less is more. And they're also recognizable. You recognize them immediately, right? Those are like the really easy ones. Does that mean that they don't have to be detailed? Not at all, right? Think of anybody from Genshin Impact. Those aren't simple characters. But think of the media that they come from, right? Those are video game characters, especially like more current day video game characters, right? All the characters that I kind of mentioned are from olden days, right? They had a little bit less technology back then. Computers could handle a little bit less, right? But Genshin's a more current game, right? You kind of think of all those characters crazy intricate, right? And the thing with why video game characters are so intricate compared to, let's say, 2D animation or comics, right, is because with game characters, you model them once, you can reuse it over and over, right? It's not like you have to keep on using that, like remodeling that character, redoing that character. You just have the one model and you can apply it to any other like computer, right? It's why video game characters done with 3D software tend to be a little bit more intricate, right? It's because that you model it once, you're done, right? With comics, 2D animation, all that fun jazz, you got to draw that over and over and over. You better save your hand a bit, right? So it's easier to make them a bit simpler. Sonic's a good example as well. Yep. Hold style Mickey Mouse, yeah. Friend Jotaro, yeah. Anime, I think, is the one exception to this rule. But there's also a huge, like, there's also like a huge team of people working on those as well, right? Most of the time you just kind of want to save your wrist. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to make them crazy, right? But overall, 99% of the time, less is more, right? It's funny that you brought up Jotaro. I don't like JoJo characters the way that they look at all. I'm sorry. If any of you really like JoJo, I'm sorry. That's my thing. I don't like the way they look. I don't like their designs. But to each their own. To each their own. If you like it, great. I'm glad that it makes you happy. But that's not me. All right. But that is going to be our written portion for today, right? All that fun jazz is what we've talked about today, and that's what you're going to keep in mind, right? So let's go over that one more time. It's your setting, right? Consider that the when or the where, right, of your character. You want to think about the role. What do they do? Who are they? Why are they in the story to begin with? Are they literal? Right? Variety is key, and less is more, right? Those are kind of the main thing. Jotaro. I don't know anything about JoJo. I know a lot of people who love JoJo. It's just not my thing. But yes, so we want to kind of keep all of these in mind, right, when we are designing a character, and it kind of helps them make them feel more cohesive, makes them feel a little bit more interesting, so on and so forth. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we said that we were going to be doing a cyberpunk character. Now I'm kind of throwing out my idea of less is more for this first character, because cyberpunk characters tend to not be less is more. They tend to be a little bit more intense. I suddenly feel smarter. There you go. It's good to have checklists. As much as I condemn checklists in real life, I tend to teach a lot of them. So I said I was going to be doing a cyberpunk character, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm not a very big robotics person, but I suddenly have an urge to do more robotics today. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do the concept artist's gray to begin with, and that tends to be to help your eyes, so it's a little bit easier to stare at this background a little bit more, because then your eyes aren't staring at white the whole time. This way it can also give me a better idea with the lighting, because I do kind of want to light this one. From Cyberpunk character design. Yeah, I'm kind of, my brain, so when you're kind of designing somebody as well, not necessarily the stuff that I was talking about in the beginning, but more so like when you're actually just starting off with a character, you kind of want to think about just like a character in general, right? What my brain always starts with is what am I kind of going to take inspiration from, right? Especially if I'm just focusing on the design itself, right? Not necessarily like how it fits into a story, all that fun jazz, right? How do I want to actually design this character and what am I going to be inspired by, right? And for today, I am kind of thinking, right, for some reason, my brain this morning was like, "You're going to be drawing some robotic legs," and I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "My brain's like, no, that's just what you're going to be doing." I was like, "Okay." Right, so I'm kind of thinking a very, because for me, I'm not a very techie person. All right, so I'm going to be doing a very upside down triangle kind of character. I've been drawing a lot of men, so I'm going to be doing a woman, more effeminate character. And because this is just the design, I'm not going to be thinking about a pose at all. I want to make sure that I'm showing off the entire character, not just their look within a pose. Right, last week we did character illustration, right, which is meant to show off the character's personality and kind of show off what the character is like. This time this is very conceptual. So what you're trying to show instead is just the character themselves. Right, so in my case, I am kind of thinking of a very bottom heavy kind of character just because I want to do somebody with big haunches. And I'm kind of thinking of kind of taking some inspiration off of some deer. I don't really know why, it's just what my brain is telling me. Because I'm not a very techie person. I don't really like most of the time what I take inspiration from is not technological. It's very, very organic. I love organic things. That tends to be what I go towards. So when I design things that are technological, I take inspiration from nature instead, right? When you're drawing robots, I don't actually recommend that you look up robots. Unless you need it for very technical purposes, I actually recommend that you look up nature. One of my old professors, one of my old teachers, one of the best pieces of advice that I got from him was that you'll never find any. You can be as creative as you want. You'll never be as creative as Mother Nature herself, right? So it's usually better to actually take that inspiration because the world around you is far more creative than anybody else. Anybody in this world could be. Have you ever seen those? There was this one artist, I never remember his name, but there's this one artist who did these really cool, these really cool spaceship designs, and he based them off of like kitchen appliances. I think that's funny. I think that's great, right? You know, taking something that's very mundane and using it to your advantage in a more designy, kind of character designy way. Bender is a nicely designed robot. My brain, I know that name, and for some reason I can't think of where he's from, but I believe you. Especially when designing robotic parts, I'm not very good at it. I always usually I rely on what's it called? Joints a lot of the time because usually your robotic designs tend to look better if you go along, or designs in general tend to look better when you go along with the anatomy that's presented. Right, so if I continue to kind of go along with human anatomy, or like the anatomy of these legs that I'm kind of basing this off of, then it'll probably look a little bit more natural. I tend to like clunkier robots. I'm not a very big fan of the super sleek robots that don't really show a lot of anything. I like the big clunky big clunky scrappy looking robots, but I know that I'm gonna probably go for something not quite like that. Hello, Jess. Oh, that's not. Hello, Riley. Welcome in. Bob Ross, Da Vinci. Bob Ross. What about him? Bob Ross is a very landscapey painter. He never really did design like this. Flashback to your version of Black Panther, yeah. Honestly, I still think that those legs would have looked a lot cooler. It would have looked a lot cooler if he just straight up had like a mech suit. I think that would have been fun. I think that would have been pretty sick. Should I do toes? Or a hoof? Let's see, because I'm not really feeling these either. Sometimes if you're stuck, just restart and something will come to you. Because I was kind of thinking of the deer thing, but now I'm not sure. Do I want to still do that? Maybe I could just do one leg. You know what? That's probably a better idea. If we just had not both legs that were robotic, but just one, kind of like a robotic. Maybe we can have half the, because I know I really like cyborgs because it kind of blends the organic with the inorganic, and that tends to be more fun for me. What if we have kind of the half? We do one leg, because I really like leg anatomy. If we had one leg that was non-robotic, and the other one that is. I want to do some exaggeration today. I'm not feeling anything a little too realistic. I want to kind of go outside of my bounds today. Instead of legs, make it a ball they roll around on. I'm doing a girl this time around. I've seen that kind of like a, oh no, what's that character called? I've seen that before though. Well, other than BB-8, but there's an actual robot that had that. I remember very clearly. It was from it wasn't Tron. It was something very similar to those mechanics though. It wasn't Transformers. It was, I don't remember. It was something from when I was a kid, and I remember really liking that design. I had no clue why, because I'd never actually seen the show. Lady Dimitrescu inspired cyborg. I've already drawn Lady Dimitrescu on stream against my better judgment. Because I'm kind of feeling maybe we could have one leg. Because if we're doing Cyberpunk, then it should look more futuristic and less scrappy, depending on the kind of character that we're going off of. This knee should be lower. But I definitely do want to do a more interesting looking leg compared to like just a regular looking leg. I could have it transparent. That could be kind of fun. I could also do something like, make sure they're balanced. Like something like an actual prosthetic has, which is kind of like that. Again, kind of slowly, somewhat basing it off of the reality that we have right now. Maybe it's a little bit more like that than the actual leg. Wasn't that guy from the movie Robots? Definitely one of those, but I'm thinking of something else. Maybe it was a Transformer. I don't know. I really liked Transformers as a kid, but I know who you're talking about. That movie was good, by the way. Robots cartoon, you're thinking of the Robots cartoon. No, I'm not. I'm thinking of something else. It was a more sophisticated design. Like I love Robots. It was a really great movie. It had really cute designs. That's a good example of like younger, more children-y designs, which is really good because they're meant to be a little bit simpler. But no, the design I'm thinking of is very sophisticated. It was a sophisticated design. I'm just like for a more like for an older audience. And I'm like, I remember I had a toy for it. No, you know what? I think it was a Transformer. It was an older Transformer. It was a guy, and he had like it. Oh, now it's coming back to me. He had two legs that could join into one leg. That was just like it was like he had roller skates. It was almost like he had two blades, two wheels on either one of his legs, and then he could join them. He could transform them because he turned into a motorcycle. That's it. That's the one. Who was it? It wasn't RC. She was a girl. This dude was a guy. Now my brain is going overboard. I'm like, okay, who is this character? Power Rangers of Voltron. Neither of those. Big Weld. Big Weld? No. Red Baron. I won't touch my sketchbook and now I can't find it. Oh no! Yeah, it was a Transformer. Now I remember. It was a Transformer. He was yellow and green. The wheels were like green. It was like a deep green. If one of you can Google it or something, you might be able to find him. But I remember I really liked that character just because I really like motorcycles. Like I don't like drawing stuff, but I love motorcycles. And I really liked him because he had like I liked the wheels and he was fun to play with because he had like the wheel legs and you could like detach his legs and put them back together. It was such a cool design. Yeah, I was like, now it's all coming back to me now. Now I remember it. And like my dad, because it was my dad's old Transformer, and he was like, hey, It's like, I found this one. You want to play with it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I loved that Transformer. Joining legs, blades, turn to a motorcycle, less is more. He was actually a very simple design. I know I'm kind of like, it makes it sound like it's not simple at all. He was actually quite simple. It was a sophisticated design, but he only had two colors. It was green and yellow, and like hints of like silver and black in there. But it was like a very simple. Bumblebee, no, because Bumblebee transformed into a Camaro. This guy was a motorcycle. I remember that very clearly. He wasn't popular. I know that for sure. Sorry, this kind of turned into me trying to figure out who this Transformer is. But he wasn't popular. I know that for sure. He was definitely not a popular Transformer, not one of the big names. It was like, it's a motorcycle Bumblebee. No, no, this guy was a Decepticon. He wasn't a. I think he was a Decepticon. He wasn't a. He wasn't an Autobot. He was like. Sideswipe? Was it Sideswipe? It might actually have been Sideswipe. Transformer. No, it wasn't Sideswipe, I don't think. No, because he transformed into a... No, it wasn't this guy. Because the Sideswipe that I knew as a kid was different than the current one. He didn't have wheels on his legs, not like not like his feet. Ransack. Scout class Ransack. That's the one. That's the one. It's this character. This guy. This is the one. So he had like, yeah, because you could like, yeah, because you could like take his wheels and put them onto his feet. Yeah, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, it's this guy, Ransack. Thank you, Daria. It's this guy, Scout class Ransack. Interesting. Yeah, he wasn't a popular one. That's all I remember. I just really liked his design. But yeah, simpler design. He actually, even though he's a more sophisticated design, he's actually quite simple. It's not that crazy. Thank you, Daria. Like, that would have bothered me all day if I didn't find it. Yeah. Thank God. I would have died if we hadn't figured that out. There we go. Now we can get back to this. Anyway, yeah, Transformers. I loved Transformers as a kid. I still do kind of like Transformers, though the Michael Bay adaptations kind of ruined the original Transformers for me. Daria's mind too big, too strong. Did you just Google like yellow and green motorcycle motorcycle Transformer? What kind of position do I want this hand to be in? I could do like that kind of deal. I might actually. Yeah, so that was one of my favorites. I really liked that guy. He was kind of broken though. I think I had an older model because he was a little bit broken and like his wheels kept popping off and like the whole kind of thing was a little bit broke and I was like, it's okay. Yep, exactly that. LOL. That's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah, I really liked him. There was another guy. I think Ironhide was my favorite, but like the version, but the version from the Japanese anime, not the from the Japanese version where the main character was named Kicker. I remember that very clearly. It was like my dad didn't like that one that much, but I remember I watched it and I was obsessed. I still thought that his name was dumb, but like the main character was this kid named Kicker, and I was like, well, who the heck names their kid Kicker? But like, what am I gonna judge? You know, I liked that Ironhide, and it was really hard to find his figurine, but my dad got it off of eBay, and that was one of my favorites. I loved that guy. I think it was Ironhide, something like that. But I also really liked Hot Rod because he was from the original like '80s cartoon. I'm not from like I wasn't born in the '80s. I wasn't even born in the 1900s, but my dad showed it to me when I was younger, and that was like my entire world. I loved that stuff. I never watched the cartoon Transformers. Lol, it wasn't on my TV channels. Me neither. I watched it on DVD. I never watched any of the actual TV shows. I watched the movies and I watched the old cartoon. I never actually watched like the original. He died in the movies. Yeah, I'm assuming the Michael Bay versions. The Michael Bay version was not that good. They were not as good. I'm just saying that. Wonder how he got the name Kicker. Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? It's like why that name? Third movie or second? I don't remember. After like the second Transformers movie by like with Michael Bay as the director, I stopped paying attention. They just weren't as good. It's just like I watched them and I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, I'm not watching it. The Dinobots one was so disappointing. I was like, they showed up in like what 20 minutes. The whole movie was none of them. I wanted to see Grimlock so bad, dude. I wanted to see Swoop. Swoop? I think that's his name. Swoop was one of my favorites. It was the pterodactyl one. I loved that Dinobot. Of course, I love Grimlock, but they had Grimlock really goofy in the original one. Shit, sorry. I guess we should go back on topic. Should I give her a blaster? I'm kind of feeling like I want to give her like a gun. A very cyberpunky haircut is also the straight cut bob. I think I want to do that too. Because he kicked stuff, perhaps. Maybe he just kicked a lot in the womb. Like, you know, when you say, like, when a woman has, like, about to have a baby, she's like, oh, the baby's kicking, right? Maybe he just did that a lot. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of funny, like, you know. I don't know, man. Ugh. Yeah, if you just kind of look up Transformers Kicker, you'll probably know what the cartoon was called. It was a Japanese one. I remember that very specifically. And I got it off of Scholastic because they were offering it. Power Rangers did dinos well. I was never really into Power Rangers. I definitely seen a couple of like. Oh, my dad really loved Power Rangers. Usually, when you're designing a character, you're trying to figure out all the shapes that they have first. Their shape language. Make sure that their silhouette is interesting. Right. I kind of wanted a very bottom heavy silhouette, so I have a very upside down triangle kind of character. I might actually want to thin out the shoulders a little bit more. Because upside down triangle, or sorry, right. This is right side up triangle. My bad. Upside down triangle tends to be my favorite, but I like right side up triangle as well. Maybe give them one robot eye. Oh, that's a fun idea, actually, Daria. Oh, I could do the whole like half head robot thing, because then I could do the half shave. Let's go. That's an idea. That's what we go with, boys and girls and other friends. If you press the button, you can turn into a cow, but you cannot give exact answers. Did you do it? Perhaps. Perhaps. Visors are pretty common. Yeah, the kind of like that kind of deal. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I do like the one eye thing though. I do like the visors. I want a pair of those. Like I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I don't want a pair of them because I do. I kind of want one for like Halloween as well. So we could do the whole half head thing, yeah, and then we can have like the and then the hairs always goes like that. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't want. Do I want to do that though? That's the thing. Is that like I don't want it to be too stereotypically cyberpunk. Because I do love tech wear as well. I could do a kind of tech wear thing where like, what if we kind of blended those two ideas together? What if instead of one, I had them both? Replace both eyes with this kind of strip. Oh, I could do a fun glowing thing with this actually. All right, let's keep that. We kind of had both eyes, kind of this whole section of the face somewhat placed here. Maybe she's like a really part android kind of deal. Yeah, we can have the whole section of the face replaced here. This could all be light. Avoid drawing eyes feels good, man. I actually love drawing eyes. There's very few about the human form that I don't like drawing. I'm very open when it comes to drawing anything, when it comes to people, because I just like drawing people. I could do the half bang thing here, and then the rest of the hair tied back, because usually they just kind of chop it off. So if I kind of keep that long hair, which they don't usually have, because I love drawing long hair as well. It's another thing that I don't get to do very often, is long hair, but I love long hair. Should I still give her a blaster though? Should I give her a gun? I don't know if I want to, because I'm like, because then I have to design it. I'll give it a short ponytail. Again, kind of a straight cut. You want to draw Cyberpunk, but you get Skrillex every time. Original Skrillex music is the best Skrillex music. Like the stuff from like 2014. I'm talking like the old dubstep. That's what's good. That's the good stuff. Like, I'm glad that he's mixing up the genre, trying up new stuff, but I will always love original Skrillex from like 2014. Finger gun, perhaps? Like an arm cannon? Hmm. Perhaps. Let's think about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Because I definitely have other things that I can design in the meantime. Because I can do the outfit, and the outfit I can do very quickly. Because I do love me some good cyberpunk outfits. Is this half me designing my costume for Halloween? Maybe. You'll never know. Is anyone else here excited for Halloween? I am excited for Halloween. 80s style glasses and the finger guns that actually shoot bullets. Oh, you mean like an actual finger gun? That actually could be fun. I need to save this file though. Let's save this real quick. This is stream 31-1. Wow, we all of us have a month worth of streams. I think that's pretty sick. Because Techwear has a lot of harnesses. They do love their harnesses. I don't get why, but like, I get it. It's like, I don't get it, but like, you know what? I vibe with it. Rock the Z-Saber. Oh, like Mega Man, yeah, like the arm cannon, like Samus as well. Maybe the other arm should be skinny. We're going to a haunted comm maze today. It's pretty sick. Halloween season soon. Halloween season has already begun for me. I have been planning my outfits since like August. Maybe earlier. I think July I started thinking about it seriously. Like a skeleton arm? That doesn't really match the rest of the body though. Make sure that when you're thinking about character design, you can't just kind of throw stuff on. You need to make sure that it matches the rest of the design, because the other prosthetic is so like full, it wouldn't make sense if the other prosthetic is very thin. So you gotta make sure you have that consistency. That's another kind of thing with Unity. You gotta make sure that it all matches. Yeah, because this prosthetic is so filled out, it wouldn't make sense if the other one wasn't. Gotta keep consistent shape language in there. But it's good that we're all keeping that what if factor up, right? I say that every single time that we do a stream where we're designing something. It's good to keep that what if factor up, right? You keep on thinking stuff. You go, what if this was there? What if that was there, right? And you keep on thinking about that, and eventually you'll land on something. And if you like it, you can try it. And if it turns out not to be good, then you can just erase it, right? No harm done. You still want to kind of reason with yourself with things, though. So we do kind of want this filled out. The arm cannon would match because it has that kind of filled out, clunkier kind of look. So I'm like, Still can't defeat Airman though. I see. Cosplay your character from Grayson on Halloween? Which one? That could be anybody. Daisy? Daisy would be hard. I don't have the face shape for her. I was planning on doing I like more conceptual costumes compared to, as I've gotten older, I've done more conceptual costumes compared to like actual characters. I was kind of thinking of doing like doing a new take on a werewolf. I wanted to do a cyberpunk werewolf. That's what my brain was telling me to do. I'm working on drawing an owl cat as my D&D OC's familiar. They're just so adorable. I love owl cats. I've seen those designs sometimes. I'm like, oh, the best. I feel like design a lot. Thank you. Have you been watching What If? I actually have been, yeah. I stopped at episode 5, I think. I've been watching it with my dad. It's pretty okay. I am more concerned about Jeff the land shark as of late. That's the one Marvel thing that has been on my brain, because I want to read those comics, but Marvel has gatekeeped them behind a paywall. I will probably pay just to read that one comic, knowing me. That's something I would do. You don't want no sleepy cat loaf poses? That's what I love to hear. That's a good time. She can jump high with that spring thing. Yeah, this is I've kind of thought of like what actual prosthetics look like, because a lot of them do have this like spring leg. A lot more athletic people do have that springy kind of leg, right? And I think that'd be kind of fun to incorporate back into here to give her bounciness back, even though this is like, cyberpunk and they probably have more advanced stuff now, but I don't care. I think it's cool. I'm kind of thinking that she's like a runner. I'm thinking that she's a faster character. She's speedier. So that would mean that the leg is a little bit, needs to have that kind of fast element in there, and B, her clothing needs to match the kind of speedier body, right? Which is why her legs are a little bit more muscular, because obviously she works on them a little bit more, right? The clothes are a little more skin tight, helps with aerodynamics, stuff like that, right? Also means that I get to have more fun with the body type, because I do like drawing the human form a lot. What if Grayson was named Jonathan? I would not. I wouldn't do that. My dad has a joke, because once when I started writing Grayson, my dad mixed up his name, and he was like, "What's that character's name? Wesley?" And I was like, "His name's Grayson. How did you get Wesley from Grayson?" So now my dad just calls him Wesley from now on, just for fun. Her leg kind of looks like Hiccups from How to Train Your Dragon. So true. I do like how they did that prosthetic leg in How to Train Your Dragon. It really did fit. It really fit the design. It made a lot of sense. I liked that a lot. Give her a blade and she's a blade runner. I was actually, now I'm debating, do I want to give her a gun or do I want to give her a blade? Because the blade actually might make more sense. In terms of like a thinner, kind of speedier looking character, a blade might make a little bit more sense than an arm cannon. Because then it can kind of match that swifter look. Because you can run and cut, right? That kind of deal. That's what I'm kind of thinking of. Giving her swifter hair as well. That nice sweep. I'll fix this. I know that I'm kind of messed it up here. Usually when you're designing, you want to make sure stuff makes sense. That's why you have that checklist for yourself. Yeah, because a blade could match. A blade could work. You know what? I'm probably going to do it. I'm going to do it. Blade arm would be pretty lit. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I am thinking. So that's I think I'm going to go with that. That's pretty sick. Because then we can have like we could even have it kind of like, wait, you know what? I have an X-Acto blade. And what I can use with this is I can take the shape of this bad boy, which is kind of like that. But then our character is left-handed. No worries, dude. Maybe she's ambidextrous. Work with both. Electric daggers. Yeah, I want to make this one glow. I want to make this glow. I think that'll be kind of fun. So we can work with glows today. Maybe she's ambidextrous. You don't know. I think that'd be pretty sick. Have it attached right here. Actually, the elbow would be on the other side, so that would make more sense if it was like that. Yeah. There we go. Anatomy. The drawing I'm working on, I started on during your last stream. Oh, I see. I'd love to see it at some point. If you're in the Discord, I'd love to see it. We do have a public Discord, so if you'd like to join that, it's pretty chill on there. We have a tradition of saying good morning and good night every single day. And flip the canvas horizontal. Oh, actually, I didn't do a bad job this time. Let's go. That's what I like to see. And give her gloves. Why? Because fingerless gloves are cool. Sometimes you do the game designer thing and you just say, why did I add it? Because it's cool. It'd be funnier if she was right-handed, but she only has the blades. Everything she does with her left hand is just awful. Oh no. I'd like to think that she'd become ambidextrous after she lost her hand. I'm going with she feels like a more serious character this time around. Yeah. Alright, sick. I think I'm good for the lining. Let's go. Send in a fan art. My Discord name is Nat Gray. Gotcha. Excited to see it. Okay, oh, actually, that's perfect timing. 5 o'clock, top of the hour. You know what that means? It means it's time to talk about the studio. If you didn't know, we are not only a YouTube channel, but we are also an art studio. So if you'd like to check out all of the classes that we offer, I am one of the instructors. The other instructors haven't popped in chat, but I'm assuming they're all a little bit busy. And that's okay. So if you'd like to check out any of the other classes that we offer, be sure to check out our channel. Oops. Yeah. No. Yes. Yes, make sure you check out our website. Link in the description. And up on your screen to make sure that you are. What happened to this? This should be going constantly. What? All right. Well, make sure you are checking out the website, which you can check out all of our class offerings on there. And this file that you see in front of you and this lesson that we learned from earlier, those are going to be available on our Discord as JPEGs, where you can download them, keep them safe and do whatever you want with them. Just don't repost them. And they are all going to be yours for you to keep and look at, all for you. But if you would like the working files, which are going to have all of my layers, this file especially is probably going to have a lot of them. So if you'd like to check out my working files, you're going to have to join our Patreon, and that's where you are going to get discounts on our classes. And for as little as $2 a month, you can support the channel and support our endeavors. But yeah, let's keep going here. Hey, yo, I just got home from school. Hello, and Basil, welcome in. Glad you could make it. Hope school was good for you. I hope school's been good for everyone. It has been back to school for about, I believe, a week or two now. I have been going back to classes. My brother's back to classes, so I hope you're all doing great as well. Actually, no, we'll just keep it straight cut. What if it's like that? So then it's like, yeah, then it's like, it's really like part of her face. I think that's kind of cool. I'm going with rough lines today. I'm not really feeling anything too crazy, but clean. I've been doing a lot of rough lines on stream recently, actually. Maybe it's just because it's to get them out of my system, because I do a lot of really clean line work. What was the chosen theme? It was Cyberpunk. So we're doing a Cyberpunk character right now. She's kind of got her head into, because I wanted to do a built-in visor kind of thing. Finish the sketch in the middle of the stream. Nice. Yesterday I accidentally pushed my friend into a puddle. Oh no. Hope he said sorry. The robot girl from Mass Effect is back and she's not happy. That's valid. I've actually never played Mass Effect. One of those games that I've just never gotten around to, even though it looks great. You know what I did play though? Portal 1, and I never finished it. It still lies waiting in my Steam account for me to finish. Maybe one day I will. Now that I'm older and probably have an easier time with it. Because I have not touched it since I was 14. So... well, not even 13, maybe. Even younger. I'm thinking she doesn't have time for body piercings or anything. They'll slow her down. As much as I love drawing piercings, I don't think they make sense for this character. Kind of want to fix the hair, though, because it's a little bit wonky. One tip that I'll always give for line art is to move quicker. The quicker that you move, the smoother your lines will be. Because it's kind of like working on it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Right? If you go a little bit too quick, if you move a little bit too slow, then it'll pick up your hand shape a little bit easier. So it's better to move quickly. That way your handshake becomes a little bit negated. Notice that my smoothing is at 0. And that's just because I'm moving a little bit faster. I do love me some good line art. That's how I breathe. That's how it goes. Yeah, and just like the hair in the front, ponytail is also going to be straight cut. Keep the same shapes. Consistent shape language, and this is kind of how we bring our unity back, even though there is variety. Which is important. I always want to think of those principles and elements of design. I believe we're doing a principle stream again soon. I don't remember what we're learning next. I don't 100% remember, but we are learning another one soon. We love asymmetrical hair. Yeah, we do. Even though my hair is very symmetrical, but my own hair. It's asymmetrical because it's all tied up, but that's okay. How do you line up with 0 smoothing? You work fast. You work quick. I also tend to line out a little bit smoother when I'm working with a rougher brush, because then I'm not too worried about it being too perfect. You want to work in single big brush strokes. So that means you're going to be using your undo button a lot. If you're working digitally, traditionally, you're probably just going to be... Traditionally, your handshake won't be picked up quite as much, so you got a bit of an easier time on that regard. Exaggerated the arm a bit there. That's okay. Draw as fast as you can. Don't stop no matter what. Never. Put down that pencil, you're done. I'm kidding. Make sure that you are stretching. Actually, I'm going to stand up for a second because I haven't done that in a while. And there goes my mic. I should be standing up. Hello, hello. There goes my microphone. Apologies if that kind of jump scared you. I have a what's it called? A lav mic. So it's like one of those funky ones that like connect to you. Apologies if that made a really loud noise. I have a really ghetto setup right now. Or a really kind of a bit of a not epic setup for my mic. So apologies if that spooked you. Because it's my mic attached to another mic attached to my headphones. So I should probably get a better setup for this lav, but whatever. Oh god. Alright, there we go. Sit back down there. The pencil will break before I do, so true. I do like working at very top speeds, so... My speed is being tested at university right now, but... You know. As it should be. How is this working? If you wanted to ever see if you're a true digital artist, try to draw on paper and see how often you try to click Control Z out of habit. I'm gonna be honest, I've only done that once or twice because I like to switch between traditional and digital just to keep my versatility up. So I've only done that once, even though 99% of the time I work digitally. Master of Faster, Jack Atlas. I don't know who that is, but I vibe with that. Speed is the key. Once you were drawing in your sketchbook and you tried like Control-Zing, that's valid. It happens to everybody at least once, I swear. If you've been working digital for a while, it happens at least once, and you're like, oh, oops. Kind of like apologizing to an inanimate object when you bump into it. Maybe that's a Canadian thing, I don't know. But like when you like bump into a cart, you're like, oh, sorry, and it's like it's an object. It's not it's not real, and you're like, oh, my bad. Didn't mean to apologize to you. I can draw a freaking blobfish like it's a princess. Blobfishes are very elegant. We've only seen the ones that are above water. See, I'm glad that I learned how to draw buckles, because this just makes my life easier. I don't have to look up a reference. Not completely, anyway. I learned how to draw fairly simple buckles. That way I don't have to look up a reference every single time. Because I needed to draw a lot of them for a different project. Lumpy Space Princess is kind of like a blobfish. She's still a princess. No, I think she's fluffier than him. Because she's more like a cloud. Have I ever said stay to an inanimate object? I haven't. No. I've told inanimate objects to stop. I've told them to pay attention. I've told them to like start working again. I've told them like, are you gonna behave now? Like a angry parent. I've never told one to stay. I feel like I've never had to do. Oh, only if it's like rolling like a ball. I've done that. Now that I think about it, yeah, I've done that before. Never mind. Yeah, I have done that. I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get with that. Close enough. Have you ever said ow when something doesn't even hurt? Oh, every day. I do that all the time. That's just like, I feel like that's just like gut reaction. You gotta work and you're like, ah, it's like you kind of lightly tap something, ah, ow, and nothing happened. And you're like, oh, I don't know why I said that, but like, okay. I have to read a lot of art history stuff as of late because like that's what my classes are. And like I've had to read like 60 pages of a textbook. Right? 60, not 16, 60. And like I've just been reading about like how cave paintings were done. And like some of it's interesting, but like the thing about me is that I love to read, but unless if it's something that I'm like super immersed in, like I can't read for more than like maybe 40 pages before I start to like space out. So like when I finish, I hit that like 40-ish page mark and I was like my brain started to wander and I was like, okay, I gotta stop before like it goes in one ear out the other. Right. So I kind of stopped, and because I was so like out of it, I just like Googled pigeon eggs for like 20 minutes. Then my dad came home and said we could go to A&W. I'm still not done reading the textbook. I have like 10 pages left, but know your limits. Know your limits. Sometimes forcing yourself to do it is not a good thing. Looking at it now, does she have pants on the left leg, or is it both legs or neck? No, it's just the one leg that has the pant. Because I'm thinking that like this leg is detachable, which is why it like has this little piece right here. So I'm thinking that like it kind of like how actual amputees have it. Like they'll put their clothing like underneath the like prosthetic to kind of keep it from like slipping or like to keep it from chafing. So I kind of thinking that it has like she has this like big kind of prosthetic piece that can be like taken off. Lumpy Space Princess is voiced by a boy, even though she's a girl. Lots of male characters are voiced by women as well. That's just a really popular thing that happens within the industry. It's just because some people have different voices, and it's like it matches depending. Crack textbook open. Nope. My teacher says that's how you calculate your attention span. Perhaps. I don't know, because my textbook is all digital, so it's not like I have an actual like physical copy of it. I have to like read it off of my off of my computer screen. So it's like I'll be sitting there and I'm like, okay, that's enough staring at this for a bit. I'll just close the PDF reader and do something else for a bit. And then I'll go back to it and then I'll have my attention span back. Hello, Senna, welcome in. Goku's voiced by a woman, yep. So is Ash Ketchum. And a lot of other anime characters. It does tend to be anime characters. Because they have like a young boy's voice that tends to be voiced by a woman. It's a very popular thing within media to have like a lot of younger boys voiced by women. And vice versa. Sometimes you have men that voice women as well. Tis just a thing from the industry. I myself, not a voice actor. I don't think I'm very good, but you know, can I do it? Technically, yes, but I'm not nothing special. 517. Okay, this should be fine. We can get through this. So is Bart Simpson. Yup. Okay, this can be like that. Think about how they connect together, right? So I'm kind of thinking that it's like almost like an axis, kind of like a wheel on here, so it can like rotate a little bit better. Have I ever seen The Simpsons? I've seen like an episode or two. It was never my thing. It was funny sometimes, but I've honestly never just been much of a sitcom kind of person. Animated nor real. Like, I think of they're just kind of like, okay. When I was younger, I liked sitcoms more, but like now that I'm older, I'm like, which is kind of funny because like you'd think it would be more of an older person thing. But no, I'm not. I don't find sitcoms that interesting. To be fair, I don't watch a lot of television anymore anyway, so. Hi, hello, Isabella C. Welcome in. So what are we designing here? We're doing a cyberpunk character. It's character design today. So we are doing a cyberpunky kind of character. So we've kind of settled on this runner kind of girl. It's kind of runner girl, and she's like just a little bit sleeker with like this prosthetic leg, which I think is kind of fun. Is that a bit too symmetrical? Yeah, it is. Let's fix that then. Want that asymmetry. But I also want simplicity, so I don't want too much in here. Don't need that. Okay, let's leave it at that then. Yeah. I haven't seen The Simpsons. It's okay. Not everyone has. It's slowly becoming more and more irrelevant now that like the newer episodes just don't interest people anymore. Yeah, this should be curving downward based on how the rest of the eye line is going. So that's incorrect. Let's fix that. Your body has curves. Your body is curved. You want to make sure that you are following those curves when you're adding on any other elements, especially clothing and straps and anything like that, right? Your body will curve with the straps, right? They won't just be straight along the body, right? You want to make sure that these straps are following the curves that are presented to you, right? If I drew them just straight like that, doesn't look 3D, right? You want to make sure that it is curving along the forms that are presented in front of you, right? These legs, or you can think of them like cylinders, right? You can think of like kind of like the whole body is like one kind of big cylinder, right? And then based on where the eye line is, it's kind of where everything will go, how it will curve. So nice. She has an amputated foot. Yeah, the whole leg is amputated. I kind of wanted to go along, because she is a runner, I kind of wanted to go with like a Paralympic kind of idea with the foot. Is it like in the afternoon for you? Yes, it's 5:30 p.m. right now over here in Canada, or 5:21, I suppose. What's the backstory? How'd she lose her leg? When did she last see it? Good question. I don't know. Do y'all want to come up with it? I just wanted a runner kind of character. I was thinking of focusing on legs today, but that's all what my brain came up with. But you guys can kind of come up with something if you want. Why is she a runner? Especially for writing a story, that's definitely something that you'd want to think about. But I am not going to be using her, so because I don't have any cyberpunk stories. I do have a solar punk universe. I think that one, solar punk, intrigues me more than cyberpunk, I find. Even though I do quite like cyberpunk, I am much more of a solar punk person. If you've never heard of solar punk is kind of like the opposite of what cyberpunk is. So it's kind of like a future where it's more of a utopia than a dystopia, where like, you know, the environment is great and like world peace has been achieved and we make technological advancements through unity rather than through separation. I think that's really cool. So I really like, and solarpunk also just has like a really fun, like kind of earthy aesthetic that I feel like not a lot of people use because they always focus on cyberpunk. Everybody knows what cyberpunk is because it's used so much, but I think that solarpunk has a lot of good potential as well. Like they, where in Canada do I live? I can't give any specifics, but I can say that Wing Canvas itself is based in Ontario. So we're based in the province of Ontario. And I can say that because Ontario is huge. So, you know. Squatting incident. PB wasn't meant to be. I see. It's 4 a.m. in the morning for me. Oh my. That is early. Sometimes I stay up till 4 a.m., but I never wake up at 4 a.m. But the only time I'll ever stay up till 4 a.m. is if I'm drawing something or if like I have an assignment that's due or yeah, I can't say where exactly I live, but I can say the Wing Canvas is based in Ontario. 3 for you right now? 3 a.m. or p.m.? That matters. To be fair, she looks like she lost the right hand and leg, so maybe it's a Two-Face or Obito sort of thing. But instead of Zetsu, it's Tech. Perhaps. Oh, gosh. PM? Okay, that's fair enough. 3 PM? That's not bad. That's okay. Single Yeezy looking fly. Yeah. No, Photoshop. She does that sometimes. Let's just fix that real quick. When I work on it for too long. There we go. Sometimes it just decides it doesn't want to work anymore. It's because I have an outstanding update. I need to update it. It starts to mess up when I don't update it. I haven't gotten around to it yet. You wake up at 3 a.m.? Ah, I would never. 3 a.m. where you are, Red Beast? I see. Well, it's 2:56. Yeah, that's too early. Uh-uh. This looks pretty cool. Thank you, Melon. Welcome in. Kind of thinking that this is built similarly to how an Exacto is. So you can like exchange the blade. Maybe she has like a dealer, like a weapons dealer, and that gets her this, who builds her these new blades because it's like a special kind. I'm thinking like an anime. It's like a special blade that's built out of some kind of material. So she truly is the Blade Runner. I didn't make that joke because someone else in chat made that earlier, but yeah, so it's kind of like a shark fin kind of feel. This triangle doesn't match this shape though, because everything else is very square-like and circular. So I could probably just fix this shape so it's more like a straight edge blade. Yeah, so it's more like a box cutter. I think that feels a little bit better because you want to make sure that your shape language is also consistent. I keep saying that, but it's true. You want to make sure that it does all kind of feel like it matches. That's better. Because then it kind of keeps that same straight edge. There's a lot of straight edges within our design. Straight edges and some circles. So I want to keep that within there. A lot of intersecting points. So, now that means we can get to color. Yay! Doing good time. Doing good time. Okay, half an hour. Not too bad. Because our palette's going to be pretty simple. I don't really want to do anything too crazy with the palette. Keep it nice and kind of like single-toned. And then I'm going to do my fun little lighting trick that I like to do sometimes. Or a darker haired color. Because I want the... Oh, there's a spot here. I want the accent color to be a light blue. That's just always my favorite Cyberpunk color. It's just a light blue. I should switch to... Yes. Okay. Give her a natural color, because I'm not feeling anything too crazy here. But again, I want the accent color to be a blue, because a lot of Cyberpunk is very monochromatic. It's usually like a lot of dark grays and bits of white, and then one accent color. One or two accent colors. So I'm kind of feeling that I want this accent color to be a bright blue. Even though I use it all the time, I'm going to keep using it because I think it's fun. Bye, Drew. I think I haven't slept for 2 days straight. Please sleep. Oh my goodness. 3:27 a.m. for me right now. This seems to be the late night stream for everyone, honestly. I'm going insane, that's for sure. Yes, please go to sleep. Oh, it's for an exam? Oh, this is not good. Dude, not sleeping before an exam is the worst thing you can do for yourself. I like the arm is a lot longer, but the blade is a tiny proportion of that. Yeah. I think the length of the blade is kind of short. I feel like if I make it any longer, it's gonna get in the way of her. Maybe I should shorten this. I guess I could, if I kind of made it like the majority of the arm. Instead of... that means I should probably read, because then I gotta redo that. Perhaps. Let's fix it, though. Now that you've mentioned it, it's bothering me. And just shorten it a little bit, maybe. Nothing too crazy. Just enough to give it a little bit more length. Yeah, that is better. Thank you for pointing it out. But yeah, now let's fix the let's fix the color. There we go. Yeah, just give it a little bit of extra length. Oh, let's fix that too then. I believe we're all used to seeing the arm hands from Dororo, and then it creates the the perception of the longer arm. Yeah, I don't want to make it too long because I feel like that might get in the way. But in terms of just her overall design, but yeah, okie dokie. Let's make that bright blue then. I'm feeling something real cyan-y. Yeah, brighter. Let's go with yeah, cool. Cool. And then I can make that glow. Let's go. That's what I like to call design. That's cyberpunk as heck. And there are little glowing parts to the body here too, which I think could be kind of fun. Again, this extra accent color is an accent color. Less is more. I don't want to add too much of it because then it'll feel a bit overwhelming. So just on the small little detail areas are all the places that I'm going to add them on. Right? That's it. Everything else is going to be kept completely like the darker kind of color. Oh, I forgot her other sleeve. LOL. Let's put that back in there. And the rest of this is the arm itself. Yeah. Okay. But I'm keeping a colder overall palette for her. Let's just use this. Yeah. Oh, why's my tolerance so low? I love Dororo. I really liked it too. I feel like the ending could have been better, but I really liked it overall. No, don't go back to change it. Don't make mistakes, only happy accidents. Oh no, not with design. If you make a mistake, you fix it. You fix it. But you were right. It's like sometimes, you gotta have a second pair of eyes. This is why streaming is so nice, because I don't only have a second pair of eyes, I've got multiple different eyes looking at it, right? So then I kind of look at it and I go, oh yeah, you're right, and then I can fix it from there. I've had students correct me too, It happens. It happens. As artists, we're all learning, and we continue to learn. And that's why it's good to have more than one set of eyes looking at your work. Getting your work critiqued is how you improve. Oh, now I'm realizing what this palette reminds me of. It's Sam, the Samsung assistant. Oh well. I'll stick with it. You know what? She was a great design too. Black shirt, crisp choice, of course. It's a very cyberpunky look. With the little bits of this. The harness. Because if you have your accent color be super, super bright, you're going to want the majority of the rest of your colors to be super, super dark. The fun thing about choosing skin tone is that skin tone is actually considered a neutral color. Because it's a brown, it is technically a version of brown, right? So when you are choosing your skin tone, how light or dark it is will not interfere with your color theory whatsoever, right? Whatever you choose, it won't interfere with your color theory. Can you pick it based off of color theory? Yes, but no matter what you pick, it actually won't interfere. So that's what's nice about skin tone. I usually just pick skin tone based off of like what I'm feeling that day. So sometimes it's lighter, sometimes it's darker, you know. Or maybe there's a specific like type of character I want to point out. But overall, the best thing about skin tone is that it's a neutral color. So whatever, you know, whatever hue you pick will not interfere ever with your skin, with your palette, with your color theory, any of it. Samsung Cyberpunk. What color did I make the robot pants? I'm probably gonna do a darker. I'm sticking with all the robotic parts being a darker color because I don't think I don't really want too many light helps because the skin tone is so light and the accent colors are so light. I want to make the rest of it pretty dark. That's a good contrast. Yeah, in this case, I chose the skin color A because I felt like, and B it would match the skin, the color theory a little bit more. But overall, you know, pick whatever the heck you want, dude. All up to you. Your art, your ways, you know. Ooh, 5:37, making good time, good time, good time. It's always a race for me. I'm like, how fast can I do this? I can show you how to quickly light a figure because I got one of my quick strategies I got from an artist. His name is Mark Brunet, however you pronounce it. Here on YouTube, I watch his stuff sometimes. It's really, really great. I really love his work. And I got a really fun, quick lighting technique from him. So adding a bit of variation to the darkness of the prosthetic. Oh, I forgot that part. Oh well. This year, forgot this. Now here's the thing, right? We're gonna get onto the rest of the color now, right? The thing with this is that I want these blue parts to be glowing, right? So what I'm gonna do, for me, this lovely thing that I can do in Photoshop is this little button up here, which is contiguous. I can uncheck this. I can uncheck it, and if I click, I can keep my tolerance at 0 using the magic wand. If I click this, then it'll select all of those colors. It'll find all of the same color, right? And it'll go like, oh, yeah, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here. Let me select that for you. And that's how I get all of those colors in. I'm actually going to color in the rest of this because I realized I left out the edges over here, so just clean that up a little bit more. Yep, if I just kind of uncheck contiguous, select this, now I have all those blues selected, Control-Shift-I, and now it's inversed, I won't touch those blues at all. So I'm actually going to copy this over. This is how I do my shadows, if I'm working kind of quick. Copy this over, create a clipping mask, and then I'm just going to do a purple this time. Yeah, let's do a purple. Oh, turn off all layers. There we go. Multiply on that bad boy. Actually go a little bit lighter. So this is my shadow color. I'm instantly putting that on top of my character. And I'm going to merge these two down. So this is my shadow. And what I'm going to do now is create a clipping mask on top of that. Use a different brush. Ooh, why are all of my folders open? That's not epic. Oh well, so be it. And now what I'm going to do, this is going to be my light layer. Pick a yellow. Because my shadows are purple, right? They're kind of a decolored purple. So I'm going to pick kind of a dull yellow, dull bright yellow. Change this layer style to hard light. Yep, hard light. I'll actually make this a bit deeper. There we go. And now we have a light source. I can add my lights back in. This is good for more intense lighting. So obviously this won't work for everything. But if you want kind of a more intense light source, I'm kind of going as if it's kind of from behind up top here. You can kind of pick out where all those light bits are going to be. I'm going to have to do some fine tuning because, of course, this isn't a perfect method, but it is nice and quick. So I'm going to do a bit of fine tuning on this one as well. Because I do have the time for it, so I can. Because I'm moving kind of fast this time around. So kind of digging the purple pants out that you've showed them. They're not really purple, but close enough. So I've kind of got that down. Now I gotta do my bounce light. My bounce light, same kind of deal. It's gonna be kind of this dullish blue. Kind of show off those glows happening here. It's never day in Cyberpunk. It's always night and it's always raining. Yeah, I know that, but I want to have some fun with it. I just heard my dad sneeze. You know, the signature dad sneeze that's too loud. Let's figure out how to do this. Should it be kind of like that? Because I'm trying to figure out how intense these lights are going to be. Should definitely be over here on the face. A little bit up here on the inside of the hair as well, which I will adjust anyway. Yeah, and then I can adjust that color a little bit. I'm not quite done with this, because I do still need to change some other colors up and add some extra volume and whatnot to these. So if I take these two on the original layers, take these, merge them. Everybody gets scared when I do this. And now I can paint. Now, I wasn't planning on digital painting, but I got 20 minutes, so I can do it. Now, I don't want to digitally paint everywhere. That's the thing, is that not all the time, not every single area on a digital painting needs to be like super, super sharp when you're digitally painting. Not everyone needs to be super, super sharp or super, super blended, right? Some areas you want to blend a little bit, but you don't actually have to, right? You can actually leave some areas unblended, which gives them a nicer transition and it gives them a bit of a better sense of space. All right, so I'm leaving this section more unblended. I kind of like manual blending, so I usually do it myself. And now what I can also do is put in subsurface scattering. And what that does is it gives my skin a little bit more life. We do have a video about subsurface scattering. I don't know if Daria can put it in. But subsurface scattering is what you can add to skin because skin is translucent, right? And what that can do is this can kind of bring that life back into your skin. So let's find that subsurface color. this is the skin tone. Make that a bit redder. Yeah, and finding that in-between point. Like that. My god, I forgot this is a YouTube stream. I tried to unmute myself. It's been using too much Google Meet. I understand. I've been using a lot of Microsoft Teams because of university, so I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, see? It gives it a bit of life, right? Before and after, right? It gives it a bit of that extra punch. I'm actually going to add a little bit underneath the arm here as well. All I'm really doing, by the way, is just kind of going back and forth with my brush. Hitting Alt over and over. $5.46, huh? Okay. I might actually start using the soft brush then. I don't like using the soft brush, but if I must, then I will. Just because I like the rougher look, I like having those brush strokes in there, but like if I need to, I will use the soft brush. If I need to kind of speed stuff up. Yep, thank you, Daria. Yep, so that was the subsurface video. There we go. This gives it a bit of dimension on this side as well. And gives it that nice... It gives it a kind of nice cartoony feel. It gives it a bit of extra life. It gives it a bit of extra style. When you're adding glows, right? I see this a lot with some artists. When you're adding glows, don't just like, you know, make a harsh glow around the object and then nothing else, right? If it's bright enough to create a glow around the object itself, it's bright enough to bounce off of your other elements. All right, so make sure that you're adding your glows back into the rest of the bodies or the areas around them, right? Your light has an area of effect. We do have a lighting stream that I did a while ago, and that one's quite fun. I remember making that one. That one was a lot of fun. Yeah, make sure that you're bringing those glows back into the rest of your body. Because again, if it's bright enough to create a giant area of effect around them, then it's bright enough to, it's certainly bright enough to, like, you know, to create a, what's it called? Create some bounce lights on the rest of the body. The tricky part with this one is that it's such a dark color already that it's hard to bring the shadows and whatnot back into this. Actually, that little strip doesn't make any sense. If we have that in there, then we need to darken this, actually. There we go. So that makes it feel a little bit shinier. So the thing with anything metallic, if you are making something that's a little bit harsher in terms of metals, your lights and your shadows are going to be very, very concentrated. They're not going to be very, very, what's it called? They're not going to be very blended, depending on how shiny and how matte it is, M-A-T-T-E. So you need to make sure that you're kind of doing that. No way. Hey Jessie, what program are you using? Currently, this is Photoshop CC. Normally we would be using Medibang, but Medibang's kind of got a glitch going on with it right now, so we're refraining from using it because of that. It has not been resolved, so we haven't gone back yet. But normally we would use Medibang, but currently I'm using Photoshop. This is my normal program of choice, so this is just the program that I'm usually more comfortable with. But Medibang works just as great. The Samsung mascot is back, and she's out for blood. She's out to find all of you. 52, huh? Okay. Let's speed this up. We're almost done. Do I remember you from the pet stream? I remember you from a bunch of streams. What kind of glitch? Is it the same glitch that sometimes unsubscribes people from your channel on YouTube? No. This glitch is just that, like, it wouldn't let me draw properly, so, like, it would, like, it lags my brush behind just a bit so that I can't draw minuscule details. I tried to fix it on a previous stream. It didn't work. I tried to fix it on my own time. Also didn't work. And then I heard that other people were having the same issue. So I think it's Medibang's problem and not mine. So I can't really do anything about it. So I am patiently waiting until that's fixed. But for now, we're sticking with Medibang with Photoshop for our streams for a bit. Though I don't think people seem to mind that much, so we're going on field trips pretty often, so. This also gives you an opportunity to see just how, like, I normally work, because Medibang I have to do a lot of different techniques and functions, so this kind of gives you an idea of what it actually looks like when I work. Normally you wouldn't do this too much lighting on a character design. Like if you were doing like a character sheet, normally you would just kind of have them in neutral lighting, straight from above, just so you can kind of see it, or just a flat drawing, like you wouldn't have any shading at all. And that no shading at all would be more for like a character sheet. We're not working with a character sheet this time around though, so I decided why not, let's have some fun with lighting. I mean, I have delays when doing a stroke. Yeah, I restarted my laptop, worked perfectly well again. It's just the cons of using Medibang. On my computer, I've shut off every single day, and it's just, it hasn't changed at all. It's like, it stays there, and it hasn't fixed itself. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening there. I've reinstalled and uninstalled. I don't know. But I'm just kind of sitting here like, so be it. I just gotta work with what I got, and I happen to have Photoshop, so I was like, might as well, make it a less frustrating stream. Because last time when I tried to work with it, it took me 45 minutes to draw a bird. So I was like, I cannot. Well, I rate the 0 out of 10 for an owl cat, but it's a pretty good Cyberpunk character. Thank you. I believe it was Art Cat Draws that was doing an owl cat. It was not me. How would I do this? This seems to be a bit... Let's go in this direction. What does this do? Ah, there it is. Okay. I usually love lighting the face. I don't know why I did it last, but maybe it's just because I know I spend the most time on it. So like maybe I'm just like trying to preemptively not spend a lot of time. Sorry, if I ever go quiet, it means I'm kind of focusing. I just want to... make that a bit brighter. Or sometimes I rest my tablet, then after a while it works again. My tablet works perfectly fine. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know if it's just my tablet or Medibang. Not sure. It might actually just be your tablet. I'm not certain. I'm not certain. The blush? No. I'm trying to figure out what color it should be for the subsurface scattering in this portion. Because it shouldn't be as strong as over here, but it should somewhat still be visible. So I'm like, what color would that be? Samsung Cyberchat looks like she wants to rip and tear, as she should, as is her right. It is a cyberpunk world after all. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. I think I got most of it down. Oh, the ponytail, LOL. I forgot the rest of this color over here. I'll just give her this, just because it gives it a little bit of dimension. We actually probably need that here. Yeah, apologies if I ever go kind of quiet. It means I'm just focusing a little bit. Oh, I forgot here, just all together. And just to give a bit of dimension to the shoe, I'll add that blue back on there. All right. Sick. Ugh. You forgot her blush. I am not giving her blush. I feel like she's more of a cyberpunky character. I have like a more of a serious character. Maybe she's more of like a harsher cyborg. She's lost her. That kind of jam. Let's give that back into her fingers because I did actually forget the lighting on her fingers. Yeah, no body blushing this time. I think that she kind of looks a bit colder without it. She looks a little harsher without it. It gives her a bit of a different edge, you know. Lesson number 1 of character design: ponytails are for ponies. I love giving people ponytails. But yeah, y'all, that's gonna do it for the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, if you did not know, our studio is a art studio, not just a YouTube channel. So if you'd like to check out the classes that we offer, be sure to check them out with the website link in the description and the link that Daria will post in the chat. Be sure to check out the classes. I am one of the instructors. Classes actually start tomorrow. But if you'd like to sign up for any of the other classes that we offer, be sure to check them out. This file that you see in front of you, this one and this one, both of them will be available on the Discord as JPEGs, where you can download, keep them, save, and do whatever you want with them. But just do not repost them. They are all yours. But you notice a lot of layers on this one, or a fair amount of layers on this one. So if you'd like all those layers, be sure to check out our Patreon, where for as little as $2 a month, you can support the channel. And for just $5 a month, you can get access to working files. You'll get behind the scenes of $2 a month, but $5 a month is what gets you all the working files and extra little perks that come along with seeing behind the scenes of the studio. But yeah, y'all. What is happening next week? I believe next week. Oh, I don't know if we've actually scheduled those streams. I believe next week is. Let's see. Next week is. Oh yes, we have scheduled. I'm done. Next week is going to be another request stream. So next week we're going to be drawing Studio Ghibli characters. If you'd like to join and pop in, request a character or two. We'll be doodling them all on stream. But yeah, thanks so much for joining, y'all, and I will see y'all next week. Bye bye.